Welcome, and today the topic is crisis. We'll first start out with Asker from Front National. Welcome.
Okay. Hi, good morning. In recent times, we've been widely fed up with the information regarding the crisis of refugees, especially within the EU. And it's quite reasonable. We as a nation are sitting back, withdrawing from the consequences of our local politicians. And to say the least, we're no longer inviting towards outcomers. A hatred towards the unknown has become quite prominent, to say the least. But how come we as society can't cope with the sudden surge of people to our country? And why do we all of a sudden support right-wing national parties, like mine? Xenophobia has been quite an issue for quite a while, and while it's still bad, I must admit that we're in a way better state than we have been in prior times. But we have become an enemy of the unknown, or at least unwelcoming towards other nationalities per se.
I will now introduce George Lasson, who is a professor in integration. Welcome.
The European Union must endure this crisis that they're put in. National parties like the Front National, AFD, and the NOP are some examples of the xenophobia taking place in all corners of the European Union at the moment. Let me begin to tell a very brief history of time, if I may indulge. When we moved into the 19th century with the rise of where identities and allegiances were defined by ethnicity, but in the age of globalization we moved on. I would call it the time of citizenship, where people could be multiracial and have multi-ethnic backgrounds, but all be equal as citizens. You could be British, Pakistani, or you could be German, Turkish. But now, we've gone into a period of xenophobia and extremism, where identity is defined more so by ideas and narratives. And these ideas and narratives that bump people across borders are increasingly beginning to affect the way in which people behave. Now, this is not all a good thing. Unfortunately, the ones who has benefited from this is the extremists and the national parties.
But it's not necessarily a question of whether or not xenophobia is present in the European Union. In the European Union, we simply do not have the proper space nor resources to accept the amount of people who immigrate or the amount of refugees that currently apply for asylum in these European countries. There are simply too many people being able to pressure EU or the European Union due to the terms of or principles of our solidarity. This pressure creates a strain within society which leads to the support of nationalist parties like my own or even populist parties. And this support of far-right parties has started a movement which creates a pretty substantial gap between immigrants and citizens, or outcomers and citizens for the sake of the matter, of the nation, which has the likeliness of xenophobia, or phobia, sorry. And this creates a very large conflict within citizens or within society of whether or not to support EU or the European Union, which highly dangerous the survival of this organization.
Yeah. But I must admit that these extremist thoughts of far-right parties has started a social movement that is hard to stop. But I think the European Union partnership is a way to stop these social movements that are destroying the democratic culture within Europe. The far-right parties like Front National are telling a narrative that are so far from the reality. They're using the people's fear to win over the people and using the post-factual society to spread lies about Muslims and refugees. This is also one of the many lies that led to Brexit and are tearing the European Union apart right now. I therefore strongly encourage you to reconsider if this rebirth of, for example, Front National is the way to build a stronger European Union where all countries are independent on each other. This way, we can fight poverty, extremism, and war instead of just shutting them out and hoping that they will go away. They will not go away, and that's not why we need a stronger European Union now more than ever. Thank you.